When police spotted a man driving with a suspended license, they immediately pulled him over to give him a ticket. However, they eventually decided to search his vehicle when he started behaving strangely, leading them to a horrific discovery hidden in the trunk of the car. Despite the left's assurance that the massive influx of almost entirely Muslim migrants to the West is contributing priceless multiculturalism, the religious group is already fundamentally changing the face of the West to resemble the Islamic regimes from which they hail. While liberals demand our tolerance and embracement of diversity, the most intolerant and culturally homogeneous ideology is bucking our legislation for their own oppressive and violent Sharia law. When Metropolitan Police officers noticed repeat offender Shafaq Abbas cruising around in a gold Mercedes, they knew he was driving with a suspended license. After pulling over the 24-year-old Muslim suspect, they prepared to write him a ticket for driving while disqualified and operating a vehicle without the proper insurance. When he started acting anxious, his odd behavior led them to a sinister secret just feet away from where they were standing. Daily Mail reports that after questioning Abbas about a suspiciously placed BB gun under the driver's seat, they discovered a terrified and crying kidnapped young woman locked in the trunk in London in April 2017. Abbas confessed on camera to police that he had abducted the 26-year-old woman, who he claims is known to him, leaving officers no choice but to arrest him for kidnapping. Disturbingly, Abbas vehemently denied kidnapping the woman, despite police providing the court with his recorded confession, according to the Daily Record. Even more outrageous was that although Abbas was charged with driving whilst disqualified, driving without insurance, possession of a firearm, and kidnapping, he received just 15 months in jail, a relative slap on the wrist for such serious offenses. Abbas received just over a year for a felony crime that would have undoubtedly been much worse had the police not thwarted whatever sadistic plans he had for the woman. This is appalling considering that non-Muslims can receive a similar prison sentence for using their speech to offend Muslims. Of course, Abbas was undeniably given privilege not afforded to non-Muslim criminals because he could easily justify it by showing the court that the Quran and Hadith condone and encourage the captivity and abuse of women. Fiercely, the Quran explains that men are superior to women and, therefore, in charge of them. As such, if a woman displays disobedient behavior, the man has the right and responsibility to beat her into submission. Quran 4:34, Men are in charge of women, because Allah hath made the one of them to excel the other, and because they spend of their property, for the support of women. So good women are the obedient, guarding in secret that which Allah hath guarded. As for those from whom ye fear rebellion, admonish them and banish them to beds apart, and scourge them. Then if they obey you, seek not a way against them. Second, the Quran teaches that if a Muslim man desires a non-Muslim woman to whom he is not married, he can take her as his sex slave. Aside from the allowed 4 wives, the Quran explains that all non-Muslim women are fair game. Quran 4:24, and, also prohibited to you are all married women except those your right hands possess. In fact, the Prophet Muhammad himself modeled how to properly rape sex slaves even in front of the captive women's husbands. He taught this lesson to his sex-crazed followers while referring to the aforementioned Quran verse. The Apostle of Allah, may peace be upon him, sent a military expedition to Abbas on the occasion of the Battle of Hunayn. They met their enemy and fought with them. They defeated them and took them captives. Some of the companions of the Apostle of Allah, may peace be upon him, were reluctant to have intercourse with the female captives in the presence of their husbands who were unbelievers. So Allah, the Exalted, sent down the Quranic verse, Surah 4:24, and all married women are forbidden unto you save those captives whom your right hands possess. Abu Dawud 2150, also Muslim 3433. Not only are Muslims practicing barbaric Sharia law in the West, but our own justice systems are allowing them to do so. Millions of Muslims who despise our laws, values, and freedoms have already made their way into our midst with the intention of spreading their intolerant, dangerous ideology that has oppressed countless nations for over 1,400 years. The only way to salvage our liberties and way of life is to use said freedoms to oppose this doctrine and religious governance that's ultimate goal is to eradicate all others. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to my channel.